Welcome to The Maintenance Mindset, an audio-video podcast brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network. I'm your host, Paul Rhodes, and over the more than 3 decades in the apartment industry, I've had roles that include being on-site, providing services as a vendor, creating and delivering multiple education programs, and active association work. This podcast is centered on the often overlooked role that our on-site maintenance workers play. You know, the men and women that respond in the middle of the night to the toilet call, or the after hours, it's really hot in my apartment request, or my favorite, my ring fell down the drain, get over here now. In other words, the often unsung heroes who are responsible for asset preservation and resident satisfaction. Working in multifamily maintenance provides interesting, sometimes amusing, and often fascinating stories and viewpoints. My encouragement to you is this: whatever you do it with a maintenance mindset. Today on The Maintenance Mindset, we're going to be talking about being proud. Now, before we get into the actual content, I have a question for you. And I would like for you to think about this question safely. If you're driving 10 and 2, don't close your eyes, but do internalize this question. And I would like for you to think through your answer in terms of a score from 1 to 5, with 1 being, I extremely disagree with this statement, 5 being, I strongly agree with this statement. And that would mean that 3 on our numerical scale of agreement would be meh. So take your pick when I say the following statement: strongly disagree to strongly agree. Are you ready? The statement: I am extremely proud of the quality of product or services my property offers. What's your answer? Right then, gut answer. Don't think about it too long. What's your number? Strongly disagree, strongly agree? What I'm asking you to do is rate how proud you are of the work that you're doing and how it applies to your organization, specifically to our properties. Now, maintenance professionals, I can recognize that this is a challenging question to be asked, a challenging statement. How proud are you about your property? The curb appeal, your swimming pool, the move-in that you just recently did. How proud are you of the repair that you just made? And I'm curious as to when was the last time you were actually asked that question. Now, this topic comes about due to a survey that was recently produced. At the end of January, Gallup actually put this into a numerical form. And apparently, Gallup has been asking for this information for quite a while. Now, I'm going to share, for those of you who are looking on your screen, I'm sharing the results. Now, those of you who are listening, I'll try and describe it to you, to where what Gallup has put out is results of a survey for that statement. Their agreement with that statement: I'm extremely proud of the quality of products and services my organization offers. And from 2008 to 2020, that number is fairly stagnant. It does tend to rise or go up from roughly 2014 to 2020 and ends up being about 37, 38 on the numerical scale that we can see on the screen. The real challenge gets to when we hit 2020. And I think it's kind of understandably so. I mean, the world was in a turmoil at that time with everything that was happening. As such, from 2020 to 2022, it's a sharp spike based on our scale down to just below 30. in the numerical value. So it drops that number of points. And it has actually dropped slightly on average from 2022 to 2024, to where we end up this new survey of being right at a number 28. So for a quick summary, we were at roughly 37, 38 in 2020. Now we are down at a ranking of 28% of people strongly agree that they're proud of the quality of product and service that they offer. Now, this is an amalgamation across the board. In other words, Gallup takes multiple countries, multiple industries, multiple trades, multiple backgrounds, and combines them all together to get that one number, that one score. And this is publicly available. You can go to Gallup's website. I believe it's gallup.com, or just go to whatever search engine you like to use. And it's a fascinating article that they've written that summarizes it. Now, this average of 28% of people that strongly agree, again, is an average of every industry, but it's not consistent across the board. The only industry that actually improved was, it just dropped from my memory. The only industry that actually improved in their scores, it went up by a change of 10% to the positive from 2020, March of 2020 to August of 2024, was community and social service workers state that 10% more today are proud of the product and services that they're offering. Every other industry highlighted by Gallup is a decrease. That's an interesting thought process, especially with how much turmoil America is undergoing right now politically. For whatever your preference, good or bad, there's just a lot of uncertainty that's going on right now. And even up until this ended in August, there was a lot of uncertainty, possibly more uncertainty than what we're experiencing today. The interesting thing to me is actually the other industries that are highlighted here. And those other industries are industries like healthcare. That the agreement with the statement of being extremely proud of the product and services that your organization are offered. In healthcare, that number has decreased by 2%, meaning that there is less esteem that people feel in the work that they're producing. Manufacturing is down by 4%. Retail is down by 6%. Government and public policy is down by 9%. The biggest data point that Gallup shares is transportation and warehouse logistics. People in that particular industry have a lower amount of pride than what they used to by 14%. That's awful. As a worker in an industry, I do want to be proud of the work that I'm doing. So the reason I started this out with asking you to rate yourself and where you're at, what did you rate at? Were you able to say 5 that you are proud of what you're doing at your property and what the product that you produce, are you proud of it? If so, what is it that makes you proud of it? I would love to hear, because that's in my mind, actually the hard part. I tend to be very critical, self-judgmental about everything that I do, in that I will get finished doing something, and then when I look back at it, the more I look back at it in detail, I have a negative feeling about what I produced, even when it was fantastic. I've given presentations, given training, gotten off the stage, and right in that minute, it was amazing. It was wonderful. It was fantastic. I loved what I did. Looking out at the audience, you saw those aha moments with the audience and with the crowd, with whatever we were learning. And there was a lot of feedback, and it was great. And then later that night or the next day, when I think about it, I'm not as happy. I'm not as proud of what I did. Now, it lasts. It was still good, but it was kind of like my performance of the task. On site, I've gone to work orders and have done the same thing. And it's almost like, from a selfish standpoint, I need that feedback from the resident. I solved their air conditioner. It's fixed. They are comfortable that afternoon. And then the next week, when I see them in the parking lot, I crave that feedback loop from my resident. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that being proud of your work is important. And in order for us at our communities and even in the corporate world to be proud of what we're doing, one of the things that we need to do is be sure that we have a place for that feedback loop. Surround yourselves with people that you can ask honestly, how did I do? You may be different than me, and you're much more optimistic about yourself and your contributions. Good. Would you mind telling me how you do it? I think I need some assistance in that world. On the other hand, though, I don't believe that that is the only key to being proud of our work, that feedback loop. I think another measure of being proud of our work is the ability to own it. And by that, let's think about it in terms of a vacant apartment. I'm a maintenance technician, and I go into apartment number 212. And number 212 is an apartment that there needs to be a lot of work, because the last residents who were in apartment 212 before they moved out, man, they were hard. Well, we've got the paint on order, the flooring is being done, and everything is good. But you know what? The faucets, particularly the faucet in the kitchen, it's worn down from scrubbing. It's just old. It's dated. It's an older two-handle style. It's not a single-handle faucet. And, I go to my maintenance supervisor, and there just doesn't happen to be the money in the budget to have new faucets in our shop. Oh, man, we got to make do with this faucet. Okay, maybe I pull the handles off and I take the outer body and I sand it down and I spray paint it and use the shiny chrome spray to get that good coverage and that overall coverage. And I get the faucet looking good, so I put it back on and then put it all together. And while yes, that faucet now looks better, it's not a new faucet. Can I be proud of that? Yes. Yes, I can. You see, being proud of the job that we do is not a function of having everything brand spanking new. It can't. Because every day that goes on, our apartments get older and older. We do have the ability to be proud in the work that we're doing when whatever work we do is good. And by good in this context, I mean of desirable quality and effort. That means in the case stating or the example given, I take the knobs off the body of that faucet and I sand it down. And when I get finished, I've selected the correct paint for the faucet. Not only that, I've applied it in a very good manner. It's smooth. There's no drips, no runs in it, and it's shiny. In order for that to work, though, and I think this is the critical point for us, we need to be certain that we are communicating the amount of time that a good, meaning quality and effort, job with what we're dealing with. You see, I happen to agree with Mike Rowe of Dirty Jobs that all jobs are good jobs. So any job, if you are a porter or a trash collector, if you even have to go through the garbage like some of our technicians up in New York have to do due to local regulations, and you have to pull out and separate recycling from true waste, that is a valuable job. May not be desirable, but you can do a good job at it. You can be proud of your work. Apartment maintenance is a career that is a challenging one. It is also a valuable one. And it's my hope that you are proud of the work that you are doing. So, here's where we sum it up. First, if during that question that I asked you at the beginning of being extremely proud of the quality of the product or services that you provide at your property, if you happen to answer on the 3 or below scale there, then it may be time to have a conversation with your leader. Figure out what is it that's preventing you from providing quality and the effort into what it is that you're putting your hands to, what it is that you're putting your time into. Is it parts? Is it training? Is it tools? Is it insert whatever it is you're thinking right there, and have a conversation with your mentor. Be certain that when you have a conversation that you're transparent. Because if someone is your leader or is your mentor and they are actually doing that, they care about you and they want what is the best for you. So if you answer 3 or 4 in that scale, meaning meh, or maybe, okay, I kind of agree with that, but you're not quite to strongly agree, in that case, I would urge you to sit down with a pen and paper and try and figure out what's holding you back from strongly agreeing about what you're proud about. I have spent hours putting together a presentation to give at a conference. And when I got finished the day of that presentation, I took a look at the conference and said, you know what? I can't go out and do this. I need to do it a different way. I would be more proud if I did it a different way. And I go and do it the different way, which ended up being less polished than the original lovely, wonderful presentation in PowerPoint. It wasn't polished, but I was much more proud. And even though after the fact, you can't really prove a negative and say it turned out better than it would have had I gone in with the polished and really, really pretty and buttoned up tight PowerPoint, I was more proud of myself And I fully believe that that turned into the product or service that I was providing. The product in that case was my conversation with the audience. Be proud of what it is you do at your job. It will show. And the more honestly authentic you are, the better your customers will be served. Thank you for spending time with me today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll see you somewhere. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Maintenance Mindset. I hope you take away ideas that apply to your current and future career goals. Please check out Maintenance Mindset Minute to hear short-form, high-impact, applicable, maintenance-centered information. Whatever you do today, do it with a maintenance mindset. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. Visit multifamilymedianetwork.com to learn more about our other industry podcasts, thought pieces, and sponsorship opportunities. I'll see you somewhere.